Hi, my name is Jim Burris, and I help people who have tried everything to get their life back to normal after dealing with anxiety. Typically, they've dealt with anxiety for months, years, and in some cases, decades. They've tried everything from prescription drugs to talking therapies, many of the alternative therapies, tapping, meditation. Pick another buzzword or product that comes out, and you may or may not have gotten some results from the different things you've tried. But even if you have gotten results, anxieties always come back. The derealization, depersonalization, the OCD, agoraphobia, metaphobia, all the different things, manifestations of anxiety, both physical and mental. I say mental, I mean thoughts, the what if thoughts, and the worrisome thoughts, and just that constant fear of that tiger in the room that's not there. There's no logical reason, that that you should feel that way, but you do. So I suffered from anxiety, or with anxiety, or whatever you want to call it, from the age of 13 or 14 to my mid to late 30s. As of the recording of this, it's March 20th, 2025. I haven't had a panic attack in about a decade. I remember my last panic attack. I was in the Tampa Bay airport. So if that's you, I want you to know that there's hope. There's hope out there, and I'm here to help you. And today, I just wanted to share a story about flying and anxiety conditions and what that's like for people. Maybe if you do have anxiety, and sorry, my cat's kind of barging in over here. If you have anxiety, and flying may be a no go for you, for a lot of different reasons. But there is hope for you. If you want to fly, you can. I used to be petrified of flying. I didn't do it a lot when I was younger. I took a few flights here and there. I didn't fly a decent amount until I joined the military. I was in the Marine Corps, and I had to fly from St. Louis to San Diego, where I went to boot camp. And from there you fly all over the place. And I remember my first long flight. I flew from Canada, from St. Louis to Canada with my mom when I was a kid. My mom's Canadian. I don't remember being petrified of flying then. I think it was before I was a young teenager, so it was quite a while ago. So I don't think I had a condition then of fear, a fear disorder. But when I was in the Marine Corps, I had to fly. I got stationed in Okinawa, Japan, and I wanted to go there. I was excited to go there, but I was petrified once I realized, oh shit, I got to fly there. So I flew I was on leave for a little bit, and I flew from St. Louis to Phoenix to San Diego, and I was able to drink in the airport. So that, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, helped me cope with those flights. Those flights were okay. They were short flights. I'm sure that I was petrified, even though I had been, drinking. Just beer is what I drank. But I had to fly from San Diego to Los Angeles in the morning, and I don't remember, other than it was like a prop plane. That wasn't super thrilling for me. And I remember I got on an early flight because I just wanted to get it over with. But once I got to LA, thankfully there was like a 4 or 5 hour layover, and I had to fly from Los Angeles to I flew to Osaka, Japan, and it was a TWA flight. So that was a long time ago. It was in 1997. It would have been no, I'm sorry, 98. I went to boot camp in September of 97. So it was in like July. It was actually my birthday. I do remember. It was my birthday in July of 1998. So I was not 21, but I was able to drink alcohol, beer. And I drank the whole flight. And it's like 15 hours. I couldn't sleep. What do they call it? White knuckling. Sorry, my cat's popping up over here. But I remember, just drinking and drinking and drinking. And I didn't even enjoy, like, usually when you have a couple beers, you enjoy it. and you can relax. And the technology was a little bit different back then, so there wasn't like, there was a TV, but it was like a main TV where everybody shared, and then you just listened through, like you plugged into your seat. Don't remember any of the movies. I just remember white knuckling it. And while I was in the Marine Corps, I got the opportunity to fly on helicopters frequently, and I did not enjoy any of those ever, because of my fear of flying. Now, I don't think you need to have anxiety to have a fear of flying. I think it's natural. For some people, you can rationalize it and go, yeah, it's this, and it really is, I believe, one of the safest ways to travel. So if you can apply logic, which you can't with an anxiety disorder, you can kind of overcome it. But yeah, it was very, very interesting, and there were some flights that I couldn't drink on certain deployments. So it was just sweaty. There were a couple flights where it was, I would say it was a close call one time flying back from the Philippines. And I won't go down I don't want to scare you, because if you're afraid of flying and you're getting ready to fly, that probably, is something that might be why you're watching this. But that was and that was a reason to have fear of, to be concerned on the flight because of what was going on. We obviously landed safely, but, and the years went by. I got out of the Marine Corps. I flew back. I was able to drink on those flights, so it was bearable. It was manageable. Not healthy. Not mentally and physically healthy to need to drink alcohol. And then years later, through work, I had been on a couple flights here and there. Same thing. And then I was flying back to Okinawa to visit my kid's mom. We were still married at the time. We were flying back to Okinawa to visit her family. And I remember the day before, it was the week before, it was a week or a couple days before, there was a Korean Airlines flight that had crashed in San Francisco. And I think there was only one or two people that didn't survive. And it could have been devastating. But I remember that happening like literally the week before, days before we were scheduled to take off. So as the flight, the anticipation built up, I just got more and more, you know what it is if you have anxiety, panic attacks, and the whole shebang, right? Just your system gets flooded with adrenaline, so that causes, you go to how you go to the bathroom and how you feel, just everything, right? Your vision, it messes everything up, or it interferes with it. So we flew. I took that flight to Okinawa, and it was with my wife at the time, my kids, and my mom went with us. And I remember we flew from Tampa to Dallas to Tokyo to Okinawa. And I didn't drink in the morning from Tampa to Dallas. Petrified, the scariest thing that ever, I did up to that point, flying. As soon as we landed in Dallas, I went and while my family sat at the gate. We had a 4-hour layover. We had lunch together. I drank at lunch. And I went and sat at the bar and just drank. It's sad now that I think about it. I wasn't there enjoying. When you go to a bar, you should go there to enjoy the conversation of other people or your friends and family. You shouldn't go there to hide. And that's really what I was doing. I was going there to hide. And it was sad, I guess, honestly. So the same thing, made it to Okinawa, every airport. On the way back was very interesting. Leaving, my mom and my kid's mother and my kids, they stayed in Okinawa for another couple weeks. I don't remember what it was. And my mom and I flew back because I had to go back to work. So we left Okinawa. And I remember getting on the plane in Okinawa to fly back to Tokyo. And it was, 9 or 10 in the morning. Beautiful day. And there was an issue with the plane. Nothing major, but the pilot came on in English, and he's like, "Hey, there's a problem with an instrument." And I just remember this mechanic. He was in like the overall jumpsuit. Came in. I went into full panic mode. I literally, you lose all your sense of. I did, and I'm assuming most people, if you have anxiety disorder and flying is an element that you have to deal with or whatever. I almost got up, no bullshit. I almost got up and ran off the plane. Like, I'm not going to make it. I was able to control myself, but I wasn't covered in sweat, but my arm, I was just sweaty. My hands were sweaty. I was nervous. I'm sure my pupils were dilated. It was just full out panic mode, heart rate. And there was something that made me stay in my seat. Because you don't care about embarrassment when you freak out, like you literally freak out essentially in your brain, you're emotionally, and sometimes it manifests for a lot of people, it does manifest in their behavior. But we made it obviously to Tokyo, landed in Tokyo and had a couple hour layover before, a 5 hour, I'm sorry, 15, it was 9 hours back to Dallas. For some reason it's quicker, 9 or 10. It was less than the 15. I don't remember, 13. But as soon as we landed in Tokyo, straight to the bar and just drank. And it's not cheap to drink in the airport bar, and I didn't make a lot of money then, so probably spent part of my rent money on beer. And the same thing on the flight from Dallas, or from Tokyo to Dallas, drank the whole way. At one point on the flight, I remember watching a Louis C.K., the comedian. It was one of his stand-up specials, and they had the TVs in the seat, and I'm watching it, and again, just hammering beers. Didn't sleep. Would have been a great time to get some rest. Couldn't do it. And there was a person on the airplane that had a seizure or something, and these in the middle of that 740, whatever size jet that is, 777, there's like 5 seats, and the guy was sitting in like the second or third seat. So there was these 2 or 3 ladies on each side of them, Japanese ladies, and they just start screaming. So I pull my headphones out, and it's just like, again, full. That was a legitimate reason, and somebody that didn't have an anxiety disorder would have probably had a little bit of a panic attack, right? Panic attacks are normal, but if you don't have an anxiety disorder, you go back to normal and you just go about your day. But not when you have an anxiety disorder. So we made it back to Dallas, made it back to Tampa, so on. Years later, I had a couple jobs, 2 in a row actually, where I had to fly a lot, and it was constant white knuckle when I had to travel. When I could drink, I would drink. There was one case where I was flying from Memphis to Tampa, Florida, and it's like a 2-hour flight, maybe hour. It's not a very long flight. Two. Let's just say it's 2 hours. And I was there with one of my coworkers, and he flew all the time, and there were storms in the area. So there were delays, and I had checked a bag, and it kept getting delayed. And I freaked out. I left the airport, and I went to the car rental place. I abandoned my flight. It was boarding, and I'm like, F this. I'm not going to go down with that plane. And that was my anxiety brain, telling me that, like, don't get on this airplane. You don't have the ability at the time, most people don't, when you have that level of fear, to apply logic and go, well, they wouldn't fly. You know what I mean? Like, it's the safest way to travel. The pilots are the most professional. If somebody's taking their job seriously, it's a pilot, right? Because at the end of the day, their life is on the line too, right? But I ended up driving back to Tampa, Florida from Memphis, and that's like, I drove straight through, and that's like a 14-hour drive. So I added 12. It was just crazy. I remember stopping in a rest area to sleep. Had to go to the airport. My bag made it to Tampa, so I had to go to the airport when I got back and go to baggage claim. And they're like, yeah, it's over here in this pile of like not abandoned, but missing luggage or whatever. And time would go on, and as every time I would fly, it was just an issue. And I'm laughing now when I think back. And I hope these stories, if you're someone that has anxiety and you're petrified to fly, I hope that this makes you laugh, and I hope you understand I'm not making fun of you, because it was me, and I'm telling you my story. And it's totally illogical, and I don't like to use the word crazy, especially when talking about anxiety, but because it's not, you're not crazy, you're not mentally ill. It's just you have a fear disorder, and your body's flooded literally with chemicals from your brain and your adrenal, your endocrine system. We don't need to go into the science of what it is. You just know you don't feel right, and you feel terrified, like there's literally a lion going to eat you, but there's not, right? So I ended up getting well, actually the second job when I started there, I was a nervous flyer. That's my last panic attack was in. I was actually for that job. I was flying to Grand Rapids, Michigan, for a sales like a sales meeting they call it, with all the salespeople get together. And I was with still a good friend of mine, and he had known that I had a panic disorder. We had talked about it, and I didn't share it with a lot of people, but he knew. And we were in the airport, and we were having beers, before the flight. And I think just, again, you don't control the fear. There's no logical reason, right? But my body knew I was at an airport, so that just triggered elevated what if, fear response, kind of like elevated, there's a word I'm looking for and I can't think of it, but basically what if thoughts, risk assessments. And it just went, I had a panic attack. And, I excused myself. We were paying to leave the bar to go get on the flight. And I, threw some cold water. And I remember getting on the flight, and we ended up drinking more on the flight. Now, we're not getting hammered and out of hand, but I had to drink alcohol. I believed I had to drink alcohol at the time to be able to fly. And that was the last panic attack I ever had. When I came back from that would have been 24. No, it was 2015. When I came back from that a few months later, I moved to Dallas, Texas. And in between those, there was like a 3-month time frame there. It's actually where the guy who helped me end anxiety, oddly enough, just happened to be after that flight, within a couple weeks or whatever. And since then, I stayed at that job. It was a great company for a while when I worked there. And I ended up getting a job where I traveled every week, like probably 48 weeks out of the year. I had to fly, which is a lot. And just through exposure, I think I probably would have overcome my fear of flying anyways. Because sometimes that's all you need. If you don't have an anxiety disorder and you're afraid to fly, just go fly like 3 times and you'll be like, oh shit, this is great, Because now I fly, I have 0.0 anxiety. Anyways, but even when I go to the airport, I have no concern. I don't drink every time at the airport anymore because I don't feel the need to. I do sometimes if it's like a Friday evening or whatever, Friday afternoon, you're flying home. It's kind of fun to hang out in an airport bar and have a few beers and just talk to strangers. I enjoy that personally. But now when I fly, I sleep. The funny thing, the first time I ever got upgraded to first class, I was like, awesome, I'm really going to get to enjoy this. I fell asleep. I flew from San Diego to Minneapolis. I don't even remember pulling away from the gate. I was just so, and I was in the morning. I wasn't, just was tired and fell asleep, slept the whole flight. Turbulence doesn't bother me anymore. I almost enjoy it. I'm not being funny here. To me, it's almost like a roller coaster ride. I have faith and trust in the airplane itself. You don't hear about them falling out of the sky because of turbulence usually. And I trust the pilots. So that's normal. I'm going to call it normal now. I've been on airplanes that an engine failed flying from Cincinnati to St. Louis. That was a little startling at first, and then you kind of just go, they got this. Now, again, I would say that I probably had an elevated level of fear, right? But as soon as we landed, right back to normal, my body, everything. There was no panic attack, no derealization, no issues. I was flying from Grand Rapids to, I don't remember where. I just remember because they had to de-ice the airplane. That would have scared the shit out of me years ago. Now it doesn't bother me. But one flight, I remember the guy I was with, we were taking off down the runway, and we're hauling, how you go really fast. Well, all of a sudden, we go to like we hadn't taken off yet. We were just getting ready to take off. Then all of a sudden, the airplane starts to like brake and come to like a screeching halt. And what the pilot had told us is that they had canceled their takeoff in the middle of it. I don't remember the reason. There was a reason, but that was not an issue. And, I've flown all the time. I've flown in snowstorms from out of big airports, LaGuardia, where like that movie with, what's his name, Tom Hanks, where they landed in the Hudson, was out of LaGuardia. I never had a concern about any of that. I was aware that could happen, or that it did happen. So I don't want to take too long to just dive into my crazy airplane stories. I hope they make you laugh, and I hope they give you hope that if you have anxiety and you're afraid to fly, that there is hope out there. And I made this video to make you laugh, but also let you know I'm starting a program called the Peaceful Mind Blueprint. I don't have anything to sell you right now. I'm looking for people that are ready to overcome, to get rid of anxiety in their life and to get on with things. I'm going to walk you through the blueprint. I call it the Peaceful Mind Blueprint. That's the name of this channel. It's the exact process I use to end anxiety, so I could fly. No, I didn't do it just to fly, but now I can fly like a normal person, right? If you have anxiety, you're normal. I'm just being funny. But if you're interested, if you're genuinely ready to commit to following a process that there's nothing to buy. Ultimately, I'm going to sell the program. I'm doing it now just to, I genuinely want to help people. I have this belief that, the more people you help, that's my purpose on earth, I think, is to help people recover from anxiety. No bullshit there. I really do believe that. I want to help you. If you're interested and you're genuinely ready to commit to follow a process where you don't have to buy anything. I'm not selling you anything, but even in the process, there's nothing to buy. You will probably find your purpose in life. If one of the reasons people have anxiety that doesn't go away after they try everything else, it's typically, in my experience, probably 100% of the time, is because you have a creative intellect. So your brain is always just working and looking, kind of, and that's probably most people. I don't know. But you have a creative intellect. And once we put that creative intellect to work for something positive and constructive, those what-if thoughts go away. That health anxiety goes away. The derealization goes away. The agoraphobia goes away. When I used to walk into Walmart, I wouldn't have, or anywhere, the mall, any place that was big and bright with lots of lights and lots of people, I would have elevated, I would call them mild panic attacks. I wouldn't freak out. I guess I had habitualized to them, so maybe they were. But my pupils would dilate. I would get bigger. The lights were brighter. I was on edge. If some of you probably have the same thing. I don't have that anymore. I can go to concerts. I missed my prom one year in high school. I missed out on so much, and you probably have too. And you can end it, right? We can work together and end it all. It's the Peaceful Mind Blueprint. Go in the description below. Click on the link. There's a video it'll take you to. You enter your information. I'll get in touch with you. It may be a little more formal here in the future. As of March, I'm just kind of like putting this together. I want to help a few people to get the whole project going. And here's the dirty little secret. I know I help 10, 15, 100 people. Some of them are going to give me testimonials saying, hey, if 100 people do the work, 100 people will get results. I don't know if you'll do the work. I don't know. If you do the work, if you follow the blueprint, and it's not difficult, you're not digging a ditch, you're not building a building, it's way easier than suffering with anxiety. I can promise you that. I'm here to help you. It's going to be live, coaching calls. If you can't make it live, there's going to be recordings, and you'll get the same benefit out of the recordings. I'm going to do them probably weekly, and then there'll be a place where you can watch the recordings, totally free. And when I sell the program, I'm probably going to sell it for like $500 to get access to it in the future. You'll have access to it forever. Even like when I say upgrade it, I'll just add more things that help people. Like when you find your purpose, there's things that you'll need to know about maybe sales and marketing, just whatever it is for your business. I'm not saying it's specific to you, but I want to share my life with you, how I recovered from anxiety and what I do now, what it's given me, the gift I've gotten. Anxiety is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. 10 years ago, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. 20 years ago, it was the worst thing. I didn't know what it was 20 years ago. But if you're ready to end your anxiety, click that link below. Let's connect. And I'm excited. I'm excited for you to go through this and to see the lights in your eye, to see your eyes light up, and to see the smile on your face in whatever it takes, a couple weeks, a month, whatever, to really get your life back. Awesome. Thanks for watching this. I hope you laughed, and I hope you go get on an airplane soon. I hope you're petrified to fly, and I hope that this gives you the hope that there's freedom and that you take the trip you've always wanted to. Awesome. Have a great day. I know you will, and we'll talk to you soon.